All right, hey everyone. Hey, today I want to make a video about the rapture, and I'm going to put a link in the description bar, and it's my hope that you'll go watch a movie that's come out by Stephen L. Anderson, as well as some others. I think Paul Wittenberg is involved, and I think he's the guy associated with What in the World Are They Spraying? And Why in the World Are They Spraying? Those are two different movies. But I'd highly suggest you go watch the documentary. It gives the case for a post-tribulation rapture and why it's important. And let me also say this too. I was watching the YouTube of a friend of mine on YouTube. I call him a friend, but I know him through watching him on YouTube. And he said, which planet are we going to worry about, coming to get us today? It just gets outrageous. I think I'm living in the twilight zone, and like somebody's going to walk out from behind my closet door and said, we really pulled one over on you, But I've also heard stop arguing about the rapture. We've got enough disagreements in the church, and this isn't important, and we need to be talking about more important stuff. And I disagree. The Bible tells us that iron sharpens iron, and so sharpen the countenance of your friend. And if you want to see two people go at it, right? Just go at it. Find two Bible-believing Christians, and you'll find two people that if they each have a conviction, one of them's going to be wrong, but because they got faith in their belief and they've been reading that Bible. It's fun to get involved in an argument or a disagreement, and it's all done in love, right? It's not done from a perspective of I'm going to beat you down, but it's like when two people passionately want the truth. It's fun to get involved in those types of discussions. And if you really want to get good at it, just go stand on a street corner, in your favorite downtown area, wherever the young people hang out, and just start passing out gospel tracts, and you'll just be a magnet for Mormons and Muslims and Jehovah's Witnesses, and you better be able to defend your faith. I mean, you better be able to say why you believe what you believe, and you better have a solid foundation, not some plenary originals written back a long time ago that nobody can put their hands on. You better have a book that explains exactly why you believe what you believe, and thank God that He has given us and preserved His Word in the King James Bible. So anyway, I think it's very important to talk about the rapture. The documentary is called After the Tribulation, and I'll put the link in the description bar. I highly recommend you go watch it. It's exactly what I have believed and have been saying for some time now. I want to give you some books, as is, I just don't think I can stress enough good resources that align with the Word of God, and I want to show you some books that also give you the other side of the story, so you'll be able to check them out for yourself. But ultimately, you have to look at the Word of God and make a decision for yourself. But I've also been accused, anytime I get involved in anything, I seem to hurt the popularity of it, because I went to go to the dentist yesterday, and I got 4 cavities and I need a root canal, and I'm not looking forward to that. I'm probably going to put it off 6 months. I hope the world doesn't go to hell in 6 months, because I'll probably need some good dental care. But I remember telling the dentist, before we go any further, I want to make sure you're clear that I don't want you to do anything to put fluoride in my mouth. And you could have seen the look on her face, like she was talking to some Neanderthal, knuckle dragging, hick that ain't caught up with modern times. And she did finally agree, okay, I won't do any. And then she started to clean my teeth, and I hadn't been to the dentist in I would say in the last 20 years I've been one time. Right, but after 20 years of not going to the dentist, I got 4 cavities, and I got 1 tooth that I need a root canal on. But she made this comment well, maybe you should find a holistic dentist, that believes like you do. And she was giving me this. She started to go into this speech about how good fluoride is, and before she could get too far into her speech, I said, Well, fluoride is poison. I got 4 DVDs at home that, you know, you can watch if you want to, and I don't want it in my mouth. Don't put fluoride in my mouth while I'm here. I've already had that conversation, ma'am, you know, and I was pretty forceful about it, right? But she got very offended at me, and she recommended that I find a holistic dentist that believes like I do, so that I will trust my dentist more. I said, do you have any recommendations? Do you know of any holistic dentists? She said, no. I said, well, I'm stuck with you, you know? So I appreciate you cleaning my teeth. I appreciate what you're doing. But you know, I just have a request. Don't stick any fluoride in my mouth while I'm here, you know? And anyway, the reason I bring that up is, if you're someone who sees the truth, right? You see the truth about chemtrails. You see the truth about the fact our Muslim queer illegal president who's a murdering thug, not eligible to be commander-in-chief. If you see that and you voice the truth, right, you're going to be ostracized. And I remember when I first, not first, but after being involved in the birther movement, right, a while, there were several people that said my involvement actually hurts the movement because, you know, I'm so far out there when it comes to, I believe the Catholics are about, the leadership of the Catholic Church is about as evil as you can get. And when those Protestants, I have an earlier video where those Protestants went and presented themselves like schoolboys to the Pope. If you don't recognize the evil in that, and you don't recognize the men who did that are sellouts and will probably occupy some of the hottest places in hell, then you and I, you know, we don't see the world the same way. But anyway, because I recognize the evil in the Catholic Church, I recognize the evil in fluoride, I recognize the evil in chemtrails, I recognize that we got an illegal Muslim queer as president. I recognize the evil in the Federal Reserve. You're right. Recognize the evil in the global climate hoax, vaccinations. I could go on and on and on and on, right? But they said, you know, we can't have people like you in the birther movement because you're associated with all this other junk, and so you're actually hurting the movement. I was like, well, okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll just do the best I can do, and then whenever you do something, you just do it separate from me, and don't get me involved, right? Because, you know, I tell you what, I'm going to do what the Lord wants me to do. I've already said this before, and I said that Fred Phelps loves you guys more than I do, and I still believe that, and that cost me a lot of friends too. Like, what do you mean Fred Phelps loves you guys more than... First of all, you don't take on the ridicule and the scorn that Fred Phelps has taken without having a tremendous amount of love in you. And you say, why don't you go, if you think Fred Phelps is so great, why don't you go help Fred do what Fred's doing? Right? Why don't you become a member of Fred Phelps Church? Well, first of all, I don't do what Fred Phelps is doing because I don't love you guys that much, right? There's a limit to what I have. And I know the Bible tells me the very first commandment, the very first one, the number one priority is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. The second one in priority is to love your brother as yourself. And so I'm just telling you, I got a little bit of progressing to do. I don't love you guys as much as Fred Phelps, right? Otherwise, I might be doing what he's doing, but I ain't going to do it. I ain't going to go do the things he's doing because he loves you guys more, right? And so, you know, and the point I'm trying to make is because people identify me and my belief systems with such unpopular, you know, I don't believe the world is millions of years old. Evolution is the most stupidest thing that's ever been taught in our schools. They use our taxpayer funded dollars to do it, and it's been propagandized all over the nation in our schools. Because I don't believe in evolution, people are like, well, he's some dumb, stupid, you know, backwoods hillbilly that don't know anything, and we can't have that guy associated with, you know, our cause, you know, whatever your cause may be, if you're like in the birther cause, right? So I tell you what, I'll just continue to say the truth on my little YouTube channel, and when you want to go promote the truth, don't involve me. If you think my views are too radical or too backwoods or too backwards, right, then don't involve me in your little movement, because I'm just going to say the truth on everything. I ain't going to like say the truth on this, but I'm going to sacrifice the truth on this other thing. I'm going to say the truth no matter how unpopular it makes me. And I've been saying the truth about this post-tribulation for years now. And I tell you, you know why it's important? Because I've visited a few churches, right? I go around Dallas and I go into these different churches, right? Even Jewish synagogue churches, right? And I listen to what they say and I take notes. And I'm telling you, this pre-tribulation junk has been put in all of our seminary schools. The same way they put getting rid of the King James Bible. And it's sickening the way that it has been accepted and promoted. And that's why you need to go watch this documentary. And the only thing that made me cringe when I watched this documentary is they had some short video clips of Dr. Peter Ruckman. And I know Peter Ruckman is bought into the pre-tribulation, but he's not a post-tribulationist. But I'll just say that I wouldn't have used him as the poster boy. I mean, he's done such. Pastor Peter Ruckman has done more for, been a junkyard dog for the King James Bible more so than anyone else. And I would have picked somebody else, to be the poster boy for pre-tribulation. Anyway, I want to show you guys these books during the end, but let me say this. If you've been a preacher, one thing I've noticed, if you're a preacher and you've spent years preaching to your congregation a particular doctrine, well, let's pretend it's pre-tribulation, and year after year, you've gone through the doctrine of imminence, blessed hope, the 70th week of Daniel, the time of Jacob's trouble, the time of the fullness of the Gentiles will end, and you've been preaching that during the end, there will be one plan for the Jews and one plan for the Gentiles, and the elect are not the same. There's multiple, plans for different groups. You ain't going to change, right? It's like you got a lot of pride built up into that, and you're not going to change. And so, who will? You know who will change? Dr. Ken Hovind. Ken Hovind changed. You know why? Because God put him in prison, allowed him to go. I don't know if he put him in prison, but he allowed him to go in prison, broke his pride, and now he's saying post-tribulation is biblical, right? So I'm just saying, you got a lot of preachers out there who will not change their position because they've been preaching the same thing for years, and they can't go back. Now it's a pride issue, and they can't admit that it's not, they've been bamboozled. They will not admit they've been bamboozled. Okay, I got just a few minutes. Let me share some things. These are the pre-tribulation books. Okay, and I don't claim to have read all of them, but I have read parts of them, and I plan on reading them again. Actually, that documentary got me excited. I'm gonna go back and read some of Peter Ruckman's books again. The Path of the Second Advent by Dr. Peter Ruckman, The Two Raptures by Dr. Peter Ruckman, The Rapture by Dr. Peter Ruckman, Millions Disappear, Fact or Fiction, The Rapture Question by John Woolford, and Things to Come by J. Dwight Pentecost. Things to Come. Okay, now for the books that I recommend, that I highly recommend, that I think have the truth and are aligned biblically with the King James Bible. Let me also give you a website, endtimepilgrim.org by Gavin Finley. endtimepilgrim.org by Gavin Finley. Just go to that website and you can spend hours there. He's got a tremendous amount of resources online. Okay. Of the Last Days by Richard Perry. First, The Antichrist by Bob Gundry. The Church and the Tribulation by Bob Gundry. Restoring Israel's Kingdom by Angus Wooten. Who is Israel by Bocce Wooten. Now, I said earlier I don't spend a lot of time thinking about who Israel is, but it is important to understand the argument. So when I said that, I don't worry about if I'm in Israel. The Lord tells me don't worry about if I'm an Israelite or not. But it's good to study it because you need to know the arguments and you need to know what the Bible says. Now, I don't like the name of this book, but Richard Perry did write it. It's called The Complete Idiot's Guide to the Last Days. But that's not my most recommended. If you want my most recommended, it's First, The Antichrist by Bob Gundry. This one has it all in an easy-to-read fashion, very clear. That's all I got to say for now. I only got 15 minutes. May God bless and protect the Bible believers, those who can hold the Bible in their hand and believe it. May God bring divine justice to the wicked people of the world.